2 months ago. The hospital halls were finally quiet. Veronica exhaled as she pulled her hair out of her ponytail, shaking out the tension that had built up in her scalp over the last 12 hours. The shift had been brutal. Short-staffed, back-to-back patients, and barely a second to breathe, but none of that was new. She just wanted to go home. Veronica... She tensed before she even turned around, already knowing who it was. Dr. Ethan Calloway. He was a good doctor, young, ambitious, and persistent, especially when it came to asking her out. She managed a small, tired smile as he approached. Ethan. Hell of a shift, huh? He said, rubbing the back of his neck. I think I need like 3 drinks and 8 hours of sleep. Sounds about right. He hesitated, then tilted his head towards her. How about that first drink? I know a place. Veronica sighed. This wasn't the first time he asked, or the second. And if she was being honest, there was nothing wrong with Ethan. He was charming in a steady, uncomplicated way. But that was the problem. He wasn't him. She glanced at her phone, thumb hovering over the screen where Oliver's name said in her messages. The last thing she had sent him was from earlier this afternoon. Long shift. Hope you're doing okay. Yeah, you too. Short, distant. A conversation that went nowhere, like so many others before it. Yes, 2 years had passed since their divorce, and still, she kept reaching out. Still, she kept hoping. She looked up at Ethan, offering an apologetic smile. Not tonight. He sighed, shaking his head with a smirk. You keep saying that. And you keep asking. He held up his hands in surrender. All right, I'll stop. For now. She gave him a playful salute before heading toward the locker room, shoving her phone into her pocket. The moment she stepped outside, she took a deep breath of crisp night air, letting it wash over her. She wasn't ready to go home just yet. The grocery store was nearly empty this late at night, the hum of the fluorescent lights filling the quiet space. Veronica walked the aisle slowly, grabbing only the essentials. Coffee, something quick to eat, a bottle of wine for the night she couldn't sleep. She was rounding the corner toward the produce section when suddenly she collided with someone. Whoa! Oh, shit. Sorry. She took a step back and blinked up at the man in front of her. She recognized him immediately. Honeycrisp? He grinned, tilting his head. I was hoping I'd run into you again. Veronica huffed a small laugh, crossing her arms. Is that so? Uh-huh. He gestured toward the apples. You know, ever since your recommendation, I've actually been buying those. She raised an eyebrow. Really? This long without bumping into me, and you still remember my excellent apple advice? Hey, I'm a sentimental guy, he smirked. And it's not every day a beautiful woman tells me what to eat. Veronica rolled her eyes, but couldn't fight the small smile tugging at her lips. He leaned against his cart. So, how about a second recommendation? For what? Dinner. He tapped the handle of his cart. If I recall, you didn't give me a chance to ask last time. But since fate clearly wanted us to meet again. She studied him for a moment. He was still smooth, still confident in an easy, effortless way. But unlike the first time, she wasn't immediately dismissing him. Maybe it was the exhaustion, Maybe it was the way she was tired of waiting for the text that never came. Or maybe she just liked the attention. She exhaled through her nose, shaking her head with a smirk. Nice try, Honeycrisp. I've got a date with my couch. He pressed his hands to his chest, mocking being wounded. Turning me down twice? You're killing me here. She shrugged, stepping past him toward the checkout. I guess I'll have to stop being a stranger. Before she could overthink, she reached into her bag, pulled out her phone, and held it out. He blinked, momentarily caught off guard before his smirk returned. He took it, quickly tapping in his number before handing it back. I'll hold you to that, he said, watching her with something like amusement. Veronica rolled her eyes, tucking her phone away. Good night, Honeycrisp. She walked toward the register, mildly impressed by the exchange. She didn't even look back.